Very unprepared kind of live stream because I just spent the last few hours talking to Kyle Curtis of the Non-Sequitur Show. It was an important conversation to have. I had planned on talking to Kyle throughout the whole thing, and Kyle, of course, if you don't know the story, you're going to hear every bit of it tonight. But the reason I didn't get to talk to Kyle has a lot of similar kind of situations, like the reason I didn't get to talk to Katie at first. Now, though, I have talked to Kyle. I have his side of the story. I'm not going to give the full thing, but I'm going to give you a brief of what happened with Non-Sequitur, what the questions are, and now that 2020 has hit, instead of us just having one side of a story, we are going to have both, and we are finally going to get to the truth of the Non-Sequitur Show with my new video, Versus Mode, the truth of the Non-Sequitur Show, Kyle Curtis versus Steve McCrae. But in preparation for that, I'm announcing tonight the interview with Kyle Curtis, which is scheduled on this channel for Wednesday in just a few days. Normal time for a UNIRock show. I will change the time on it, maybe. If not, it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, the 22nd. Just getting everybody caught up. Now let's talk about the whole thing. Let's go for the full discussion. Let's go to where, why, how, when. For anyone that has no clue what's going on, you're going to get it all right now. And I'll talk to the live chat. I will take questions from the audience when I talk to Kyle through email beforehand. Probably we'll take super chat questions during the interview. Maybe we'll figure it all out. Let's talk about tonight how this is going to roll, why this is going to roll, what happened to get us here. Let's go. Broadcasting from the East Coast of the glorious United States of America, I'm your host, UNIRock, with my assistant, Busy the Baker. Shut up, ding dong. It's the 18th of January in the year of our Lord 2020. I am UNIRock. This is UNIRock Live. All right. Oh, and Sean Hufford threatened to sue me. I'll tell you about that later. What the fuck is going on, bro? Busy, play a really good intro. Like, give me a really good intro, bro. I'm not prepared tonight. Let's go ahead and roll in. You got me? Are we good? Can you play the intro, you ding-dong face? Do you mind? Thank you. Go. Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead and give me my, you know what I want. You know what I want, Busy. I think you know. That is correct, sir. Yes. Been a really long, weird few weeks, right? Or at least in the last month. Been really long and weird. I can't imagine what it must be like for the viewer. Imagine what it's like for me to be up on the screen throughout all this garbage. I never thought I'd be an integral part of the non-sequitur story, but I am now, right? I started this whole thing off by being a viewer of the non-sequitur show. Shit, dude, like, I must have found it back when I first heard about Flat Earth as a YouTuber on a small channel called UNIRocktv. I must have found it then because Jeranism came up, and then when I searched Jeranism, I eventually found the Non-Sequitur show, like most of you. And I didn't do anything that I ever thought would get me to bump into the Non-Sequitur show or to have me meet one of the co-hosts and have him, like, hang around a lot until he ends up blowing up on me, attacking my channel at the very fiber of it, saying all these nice things about me for almost a year, just to completely flip-flop within mere hours, right? With nothing. I have not yet seen a valid criticism from Steve McCrae of what I've done to deserve the way he acts towards me, but now I've joined the club of people that have had Steve attacking them nonstop, harassing, threats of doxing. Some of them had been doxed. He's tried to dox me live on a stream like I played the other day. People now are trying to defend it, saying, oh no, him trying to use the age, the info he knows about you, your age, to narrow down the different packets of which dox is which, isn't Steve doing anything. But in all reality, that's just, I still don't know a single person that actually pushes that more than a sock account here and there. It's gotten really bad, and the attacks and the drama is just non-fucking stop at this point. So what happened and what's going on? Well, like I said, I thought Non-Sequitur was just a show where these two guys had popular people go talk there and debate things. And it was before the whole Flat Earth craze. It was early on when people were fighting Flat Earth, like I've done for a very long time. But it was back when the whole debating the Flat Earthers type of side of it became prevalent because people, the bigger Flat Earthers like Jeranism and them, had finally opened up and decided to try to debate their side, not to look bad in front of their audience. Long story short, whatever happened, NonSeq grew quick, it blew up, and then it literally blew up when Kyle kicked Steve off. Now, Steve's response to being kicked off was, yo, I'm a 50-50 owner to this channel, you can't just kick me off. Kyle's side was, no, you weren't a 50-50 owner. It was my channel, and I was letting you do it with me, and now this has all happened. And because of certain video clips, like the death of the Non-Sequitur show and others, now we're at this point where people think they have their mind made up about it, and a lot of it is my fault, I'd have to say. A lot of it around here, or around this area of the community, is my fault, because I did analyze some of those videos and I was cited when I analyzed them. I don't really know how it happened. I mean, I know, but it's just been hard to grasp it, hard to make sure it never happens again. I now have kind of pinned it down to I took some promises of evidence. Like in the very beginning, I was told that there was a contract and that Steve had it. And because of that, he had an excuse for why he couldn't give me the contract, but he promised he would. Now, in my brain, I'm like, oh, damn, okay, that's some powerful shit. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and assume it now. So that was an error on my part. But then again, the only reason I know that he doesn't have a contract or written agreement or anything else, as I was saying on Periscope earlier today, is because the whole thing changed. It was like first a contract, then it was a written agreement, then it was emails, then it was some Google Hangout back and forth. But then I looked at the Google Hangouts that he put out on his channel a few days ago, and I noticed that he mentions that we need a 50-50. Kyle doesn't even respond. He doesn't even say anything. You can't ask somebody or tell somebody that you need a 50-50 agreement and then have them not say anything and act like and not respond at all, and then go around telling people that it happened. So I guess that's still a question at this point. And many people want to figure it out. They just want to know. And that's the problem. This entire time, up until a few days ago on Steve's channel, where he would go live and show everything about his communications with all the private communications with Kyle, none of it came out to show a 50-50 at this point. And I've been on the Rock A Lot channel asking people to send me the evidence, asking people to send me the proof of a 50-50. Then I hear him say he's won the court case, and I report it because of what he showed me. Then I was just confused over what a default judgment meant. I didn't know that a default judgment could happen without the person winning anything. I didn't know that. I thought the default meant towards the case. I didn't know it meant towards the actual court hearing. So now I'm going around thinking that he's won and he's just waiting to get his stuff because that's what he told me. And he has a title, literally, it's over, I won. But then I go and find out that it's not over. He hasn't won. It's just begun, and it doesn't look like he's going to get it. I don't know what to fucking think. My point is, it'd be nice if he would just be honest about it. I don't think he can. I think he's incapable of it. So we're at this point now where after what happened between Katie, at least something good came out of him attacking Katie, literally harassing Katie. Nobody disagrees with that at this point. It was just pure fucking harassment. Him still pushing those debunked things is just pure harassment at this point. But still, for those of you that don't know, there's many videos up on this channel that details how the quote-unquote evidence he put out about the Katie attacks he was making turned out to be fabricated. Many of them. I don't have a single critique he made of Katie that can actually be put up and pinned against the wall from when I made those videos. So my point being, I've already told you about all this. I did stand up and correct things here. I did stand up and tell you where I was wrong in the past. I have tried to work through all of this up to now. But I do think that's why he made me into the enemy. I do think that's why he's attacked me mercilessly. And he has his friends sitting there trying to threaten me and bullshit me and troll me and do all this without him stopping them or telling them how fucked up that is. Because even if, let's just say that he's right about something that's going on out there, why would he want that image of the people that he's near doxing people, threatening people with their location on live streams? It would seem like he wouldn't want that, but he did not even bother to respond. He's perfectly fine with those statements, those threats made against me. He's done nothing but still hang out with the person that did it and not even disavow that action, let alone the person for doing it. So in the end, I do think that so for those of you that don't know, what I've learned since Steve started to attack me was that there are many accusations levied against him, as in sexual harassment allegations. There's a bunch of women that allege it. We all know that. It's not a secret. He talks about it on his channel. Then there's the allegation that he fakes screenshots and evidence and leaks those fake things purposely to his friends or to people he's trying to work with around a story so that him leaking it doesn't get out. That's another allegation against him. There's an allegation that he's targeting Katie because purely Katie had the gall to defend Kyle in the non sequitur mess. But now that I've seen a clip of Shannon Q literally telling Steve that he's not a partner of the show and saying that he told Kyle with his own mouth to hold his money and not give it to him, to leave it in the non sequitur account so that it could stay, because Steve thought it would go up. He thought it would make more money if he left it in the account, something to that effect. He admitted to this. So he's on a freaking live stream admitting to that. All of these things are complete contradictions to what's happened before now. So, as the whole thing about Katie, maybe one good thing could come out of it, and that is that Kyle finally feels like he has the power to stand up and tell his side of the story, to show us evidence, and yes, to admit what he did wrong in the story, to have a discussion about it. I don't see how that is a problem when the other side not only wanted us to listen to them for months and months and months and months and months about this, but the other side also wanted us to report on it. Can't tell you how many things he brought to me that had to do with the court case or NonSeq, wanting me to do a video on, even though he'll claim the opposite, that I inserted myself into that mess and all this. So my whole point is, and you guys know what's true. I don't have to sit here and dig through old screens. They should. They know if they want to show that Steve, who literally was witnessed by all of you in a live stream, asking me to make a video on the Katie thing, if they want to show that it didn't happen, then why aren't they producing clips? Why are they saying I have to? It's been already accepted by the other side, but do you see the tactic involved? More accusations, narratives, and tactics and all this. So how do you get to the bottom of that? What do you do when you have a person that's integral to a story doing nothing but trying to cloud the story with a lot of, all of these background things that are all dirty, that are all like wrong, they all are not indicative of allowing people to give their opinion, to allowing people to discuss the opinion and come to a resolution because of the opinion. Everything that's been happening from that side is indicative of trying to stop people from talking about these things, trying to prevent people from listening to certain people talk about these things. And already there's a narrative out on Twitter already that Kyle is going to try to repair his reputation and all this stuff when he talks to Uni, being put out by them. They don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. And yet, they've already determined the outcome of what we're going to do when we talk. That, my friends, is what people do when they're trying to control a narrative. That is what people do when they're trying to prep your minds to come out of that interview with your own judgment. And if you want to prep your mind to come out with their own judgment, if you want to have your mind prepped and made up for you, you know where to find it. All you got to do is search it out. They will hook you up. They will think for you if you want to go to their Twitter or their Facebook or their YouTube channels. They'll literally tell you exactly what to think. They're already made up their mind. They don't even know what's happened yet, and they've got it pegged down. But if you want to make up your own mind, Wednesday, right around 9 p.m., and yes, that's Eastern time, and it may be happening a little early, or it may be happening a tiny bit later, and I'm letting you all know ahead of time. I will be updating the scheduled live stream as time goes on. Leading up Wednesday, if you want to make up your own mind, you can watch me interview Kyle Curtis. So, why am I interviewing Kyle? Because I was one of the first people to commentate on the breakup of Non Sequitur. One of the first outsiders to commentate on it. Kyle and me talked for the first time, more than just through a live chat when I was like talking on Non Sequitur in the live chat, and he would be like, "Yo, UNIRock 2. He shouted me out once on the Non Sequitur show. Other than that engagement, I'd not talked to him until today. I'd emailed, but not talked to him until today. And I will share with you what we talked about in his initial side or initial thoughts. And I will tell you exactly, I'll answer your questions and tell you exactly what the intent of doing all of this is. But even more than that, before we go to the live chat and hear what you guys think and respond to a little bit of it, before we get there, I don't see how it could ever be an issue for Kyle Curtis to step up and say his side and to show his evidence and rebut some of the lies and narratives that are out there, according to him. I don't see how that's bad. I don't see how the other side isn't encouraging it instead of trying to build a narrative around it and defend against it already. You got me? Because I'm telling you, that's exactly what they've done. The minute I scheduled it, They've been knowing for weeks that I was going to talk to Kyle. I have not been secretive about the fact that I have been trying to get Kyle to get in contact with me. I've literally, though, if you go back to the very beginning of this story, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months ago, I told you all that I wanted to talk to Kyle. I said it consistently in any of the NonSeq videos in the beginning when I still thought it may be a possibility that Kyle will reach out to me. I wanted to talk to him. Now, at first, I get why Kyle would never have reached out to me. He thought that all I would do is troll him, or all I would do is try to talk for him, or all I would do is try to put some narrative out there, or shame him, or like put him down. You know, and the amount of harassment that he received over non-sequitur, I mean, my fucking God, bro. I didn't know somebody could get 3,500 messages in one day that were all somewhat crazy, but damn, dude. So I get why he hasn't spoken up, right? And everybody has assumed everything about this story until now. And you're saying, no, we didn't. No, you really have, because what evidence did the other side put out? Days, 2, 3, 4 days ago, they went live to show you everything they had, and it didn't prove the agreement. And in my opinion, a lot of the evidence that was put out proves there wasn't an agreement. And if there wasn't an agreement, who owns the channel? You know who. Kyle. Now, I was saying on Periscope also, it's really weird to me that the judge is now saying, you have to prove what you're owed. You have to prove if you're owed the channel. You got to prove whether you're owed money. You got to prove all of this now. I think the judge is saying, can we get these written agreements and these contracts? And they're like, we don't have any. And I do think that a few days ago, the reason why we didn't see any is because there isn't any. But even more than that, there was something really interesting. There was an agreement that was never signed. He admitted it was never signed. He admitted, thanks you for joining the channel, whoever did. They admitted that. You got me? So my point is, why in the world was this thing not filed if the 50-50 exists? Because we were all told it was there. Now I start to remember back to a lot of talk about a gentleman's agreement. And you know what a gentleman's agreement is? It's a handshake. It's a discussion. It's a something that was said to each other. Well, there's a reason why those types of agreements have to be put on paper and turned in, because when you have those, anybody can go steal a channel or steal a business from anybody else, and the law has to guard against it, you know, because somebody could get all drunk as hell one night and say, you know what, I really love to have you be my 50-50 partner in my business. Well, do you want to make a gentleman's agreement? Yeah, let's do it, man, because we're close to each other. Let's do it. Well, you're going to court in 3 days, and you're going to have a 50-50 partner with a business you built, right? It doesn't work like that. In my opinion, why isn't any skeptical person looking at those agreements that weren't signed and turned in and saying, so you're admitting you don't have an agreement. You're admitting you didn't have an agreement with them by showing us that you didn't fill out the paperwork and turn it in. And we don't even know what that paperwork would have been. Everybody's assuming that paper would equate to a 50-50. It wouldn't. You get me? Now, I'm not saying there isn't a 50-50. I'm not giving you any of that. What I'm telling you is there are so many major parts any skeptical person would have brought up in this story, but a lot of people didn't, because anytime something was brought up, you know that there were people present with an interest in the story that like to change the subject, that like to move things over, that like to try and say, oh, let's talk about this really quick. I want to weigh in. I know I have nothing to do with this story. Hi, it's me, random streaming person that talked you into letting me join the stream, and I want to weigh in on this, and I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about how I took an airplane ride to Nebraska. Well, I need to weigh in right now, even though you're all trying to figure out how you feel about this whole thing that happened. These problems riddled this story. And it mostly was my fault when it came to my side of it, because I did allow myself to be manipulated with the data that I put out. I'm at least going to sit up and be able to admit it and to be able to change where I was wrong, because every story isn't so, you know, every story isn't this hard line drawn in the sand. If it was a hard line drawn in the sand, we'd have paperwork. We'd have filings. We would have, you know, something to base it off of. And since it's not drawn in the sand, we are literally going against the foundation of being skeptical, the foundation of being logical, by not answering these questions, asking these questions, hearing the other side. And I really think it shows a lot about the situation in this story, that there are people and that Steve McCrae, I'll just say his name, I don't even care, that's out there trying to build a narrative that we are going to lie when we do the interview on Wednesday. Well, what if he shows evidence for what he says? Are you saying it'll be a lie even if he has evidence to back up what the man says? Because he's got some really damn good evidence that proves that there was no 50-50, right? I'm just telling you what Kyle said to me. In fact, let me do that. Let me tell you what he said to me. Let me tell you what his points are. But remember, this is just me talking about a conversation I had. So I could misspeak. I could say something that he's told me and then get it wrong. So save your judgments until Wednesday when you hear him talk. It'll be the first time that Kyle Curtis has talked anywhere since he was bullied off the internet over non-sequitur split up. And I am not saying that Kyle Curtis is not at fault. In fact, I've never said that. I've always been very vocal with the faults that Kyle had. And yes, I will call out the faults that Kyle had when I interview him. I'm not just going to not call out his faults or his responsibility in it. And Kyle, at least, Kyle will admit where he went wrong. Let's talk about that really quick. Then we'll get into the rest of it. All right? All right. I've never known a person who did not want their money on a consistent basis. I would want my money every week or month or however you guys get paid. Just saying. Nikki, you're right. Well, that's the issue. I said that through the entire non-sequitur story. Thank you for that comment. I mean it. Type what you think in the chat for me. It helps me. You're right, Nikki. And one of my main criticisms against Kyle Curtis is that him and Shannon Q expected us to believe that Steve didn't want his money. Well, I have evidence of it. I found it a few weeks ago on the Rock-A-Lot channel. It changed everybody's mind. Why? Because we were lied to. That is one thing that Steve wants Kyle Curtis to admit to his faults. He wants him not to lie, and he wants him to tell the truth. Now, Steve wants that. Steve must also do the same thing. He needs to tell everybody the truth about his money when it comes to non-sequitur. He allowed it. Why did he? There was a reason why Steve allowed us to think a lie about the money, and there was a reason why he didn't speak up and tell us the truth about why he asked to not get paid from non-sequitur. But I can show you the clip. In fact, I will show it to you in this very stream. I'm very sorry to ask this of my current live stream room staff. So I'm starting to call you guys staff now. Sorry, Busy. They are more well part of this channel than you, ding dong face. Because all you do is smoke crack. I need one of you guys in my current live stream room to get the clip for me, the timestamp for that clip where Shannon Q is grilling Steve about lying about the non sequitur money, and please put it in the current live stream room with the timestamp. And when you get it there, if you will, please tag me in the chat and let me know that it's in there, okay? From one of my admin / high rank mods, please. Thank you. So, I'm with you, Lucille. Lucille said, as to Kyle, it's not a good idea not to show up in court. They're the default judgment. But Kyle thinks that the judge isn't going to give him the channel because it's not his channel. He knows that Steve has no evidence that they were co-owners or that Steve had any ownership of the channel, and he's having faith in the judge isn't just going to hand the channel over without evidence. And that is kind of weird. Steve told us he won. He did say I won, right? So looks to me like there's a lot about this story that just doesn't make sense. There's a lot about this story that really does need to be explained. And even more about this story, we've been lied to, or we have been allowed to be lied to in this damn story. I don't like that. Because you know what? A lot of people, including myself, have done some fucked up shit when it comes to judging Kyle for things and railing against Kyle for things, okay? And why in the world didn't we also ask those same questions of Steve? We did not. I know why. Because he doesn't let you. I never once... I was trying... Do you realize how many times I tried to interview Steve for the Katie thing, and he would just run away with the conversation? There's a reason why he does that, in my opinion. And I think we've actually hit it. And I know a lot of you guys out there aren't gonna fucking care. You're gonna say, no, I'm Team Steve, which means whatever evidence you guys show, whatever side you put out, we're not gonna believe it. You guys are Team Kyle. I'm not Team Kyle. I'm not Team Katie. I'm not Team Steve. And I think that there is a truth in the fact of the quote of 2019, which came from Dr. Misha. Dr. Misha made my quote of 2019. I think I'm going to do a freaking video on it, actually, because she deserves the damn credit for this quote. I'm going to get it wrong. She's going to have to correct me. I'm sorry. But she said somewhere that the founding thing of cancel culture is picking a side. And that is the truth. Because when you pick what side you're on, you're already priming yourself to believe one, trust one, let one get away with more, and then to not believe the other, be rude to the other, or over-scrutinize the other. And in every place where there are skeptics, there should not be sides. There should be logic, truth, evidence, reasoning, reasons why you believe what you believe, the logic why you believe what you believe. This is being lost in this whole this and that and this battle, and that's what my versus mode should be showing you. Those versus modes should be showing you how crazy these stories are, that people will be on one side 1 minute and then on another side the next minute. That's the basis of my versus mode. It always has been. Analyzing these crazy stories that shouldn't exist. Why? Because Kyle and Steve are equally at fault. If not, Steve is more at fault for what happened, and I can go through why. I actually can give you provable thought processes behind why. I could give you provable evidence to why. Why? Like, if he was going to get back NonSeq, why did he attack it and have people unsubscribe, have people mass downvote? Why did he have people follow Kyle around everywhere Kyle went and bully the fuck out of him? If Kyle was the bad guy and Steve is going to swipe in with the court system and take his channel back, why destroy the channel? Because if Steve McCrae did tell Kyle Curtis to hold his money, remember, what was his story on this show? He wanted his money, but he needed a few weeks or a little bit of time to figure out and get his stuff straight. Well, that's not true. In fact, he legit, the entirety of NonSequitur, told Kyle to hold his money up until the very, very end. Got me? I'm not saying Kyle doesn't owe him. I'm just saying, for those of you that want to act like it's Kyle's fault that Steve didn't get paid, it's Steve's fault that Steve didn't get paid. How does that change the story? How does that change? It should change the where you place blame. Because what the fuck has been the #1 complaint against Kyle? That he kept Steve's money. That's been the #1 complaint. He stole from the guy. What if you have a video clip that proves he didn't? What if you have a video clip that proves that he told Kyle to keep the money and then attacked the show, and the show lost all the money? It lost everything, down to zero. Once again, this isn't my side. Once again, this isn't my thing. This is me telling you that this is what happened, and it could be considered this way. But as skeptics, oh no, Uni's too much of a lying D-bag bad guy to be able to present you with the logic that we've been ignoring in a story this whole time, right? That's what Twitter says right now under Steve McCrae's name. And imagine if Steve would have just not bullied the fuck out of everybody he bumped into, trying to force everybody to think how he thinks or get blocked or banned or get out, not letting anyone stand up and give their piece or their side or their thought. Imagine if he didn't do that. We would have been way further in the non sequitur story than we are now. Everybody's hanging to a thread in this. People are slowly starting to realize that something is wrong, or else the judge would have already ruled it. That's how people feel. I'm not telling you how I feel. I'm telling you how people feel that I talk to. And in the end of it, there's only one way for us to know the truth of what happened, to talk to both sides and put out both sides' evidence and compare them to each other. Because what else does Kyle have? What else does Kyle have? He has conversation after conversation after conversation that him and Steve had, where Steve isn't being a 50-50 partner. Now, we were willing to consider Steve's conversations, weren't we? And since Steve released his conversations with Kyle, now Kyle can release his conversations with Steve. Why was Steve asking for a 50-50 agreement not long before it broke up, if he had one? Has any skeptic asked him this question yet? Because one thing's for sure, Steve demands that you believe that he has a 50-50. He demands that you believe that it was his channel too, that he wasn't just there with Kyle being the owner. He wants you to believe that he took all these accounts and signed it over. And then after he signed it over to him, that they had this overpowering, legally binding agreement that equated to Steve getting to make the decisions with him. But if you listen to the Death of the Non Sequitur show, it sounds like an employee talking to his employer. Sonny Bum says, why TF is Katie being attacked up in this chat? Well, you have to ask the people that are doing it. I'm sure my mods will take care of it if they are attacking her. You know, Steve's got his cronies up in my chat right now. I mean, it's just obvious. I haven't even been watching the chat, so I don't know, Sonny. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone to be... Nobody should be attacked in my chat. If you have an opinion to put in the chat, put it in. If you're going to attack somebody, mods, kick them out. Okay? Let me read... Speaking of which, let me look at some of the chat here and see what's going on. Let's see what people think here. Type what you think in the chat, my peeps. Type it in the chat. A verbal agreement makes no sense in 2020. Someone says, Steve's peeps are doing it, Sonny Bunny. Well, I don't know who Steve's peeps are. Okay. Well, Patty, I'm sorry. Listen, one more thing. If anyone talks about who is that, Britters, kick them if they bring up Britters. Kick them if they are insulting other people. Just do it. Just get it out of my chat. If you have an opinion about what we're talking about, please put it in my live chat. I will respond. Okay. Why hasn't NonSeq made a vid in over 4 months? You will find out Wednesday. I'm not NonSeq. I could guess. He took off. He left the internet. He got thousands upon thousands of messages. A high percentage of them were saying some really fucked up shit. He decided that he would just bail out and take off. He also said to me that he was worried that no matter how he told his story, he would be berated and attacked over and over again. And he eventually gotten into a bad place over it and left. That's him speaking, not me. You're going to hear him talk Wednesday. If you want me to ask him that, email it to UNIRocktv@gmail.com. And in the title of it, put question for Kyle Curtis. And be respectful when you email me, because I will delete you in a heartbeat and not ask your question if you're not. I'll put you in my spam folder. I'm not kidding. Just be nice when you email me. You can shit on me every other time, but if you email me, be nice, because I won't read it and I won't respond. I watched videos where it says that the channel was losing people left and right because Steve made people uncomfortable and no one even wanted to come in the channel to discuss anything anymore. That is true. Steve even admits to that. Yes. Well, if anyone in here wants to have it, here's what I'm going to say. If anyone here has an issue with Katie, take it up through a respectful email, because no one has to respond to you if you're not being nice, at least. Or at least not neutral, as I'm saying. Not nice, neutral. I look at neutral as nice personally, but be neutral. Get it out of my chat. Get it out of my chat. If they're doing it, just get them out of my chat. I'm already asking, the topic tonight is the interview with Kyle on Wednesday. General thoughts on the Non Sequitur show and that mess. Thank you. Kyle didn't respond to the lawsuit, so the default judgment seems to have Steve won. Unless Kyle showed excusable neglect, Steve should own the channel. No, Jeff. No, that's where you're wrong. That's where you've been watching, I guess, too much, Steve. I'm just kidding. It was a joke. Don't get mad at me. No, Jeff. No. When you get a default judgment, it just means the other person didn't show up, and now it's Steve's burden to prove what he is owed. Steve will get 0 because of the default. He now has to present the actual agreement. Since he doesn't own the channel, and since his name and bank account aren't on the channel, in order to convince the judge that he's owed anything, he has to present evidence to the judge that shows it. And it can't just be Kyle saying, well, okay, fine, I'll give you 50-50 of the videos you're in. That's them negotiating a deal, not deciding the deal. Kyle is still allowed, before he presses the pay button, to decide that he's not going to pay Steve anything. And yes, people can hate him for it, not like him for it, think it's messed up to do it. If he wants, it's his decision. But what I care about is, why did they each do what they did, and what is it that they did to do the did do? You got me? I want to know why. Sorry, I'm silly. I want to know why. I want to know what really happened, though I can make up my mind. I don't want one side schmoozing me over for 8 months, then attacking me for a month because they're pissed off that I'm doing the videos that I'm doing. If he wants to attack me, he's more than welcome to till the cows come home. But I have a channel, I got an audience, and I know you guys want to know the truth in this as bad as I do, and we're going to get to it. And he can call anyone he wants a liar. He won't ever give the logic. He's not once given the logic of why I'm a liar, because he knows he would be rebutted. Let's say Steve went live right now and actually left a video up on his channel where, instead of just telling you what UNIRock is or telling you what other people are, let's just say he actually used logic or examples or evidence to say why he felt like he did. He would get responded to by other YouTubers. He is vague on purpose so that he does not have to have other YouTubers respond. Because if he doesn't say why it is that I'm a liar, how do I defend myself? He just makes the blanket statement, and then all I can do is say, where did I do it at, ding dong face? Why don't you prove what you're saying? Which I've been saying the whole time. He has been attacking me for a solid month, ever since I criticized him. And it happened live on this channel. You can watch it happen in real time. If you're any of the closed-minded, sided people out there who aren't concerned about evidence and have already taken a side, if you're not one of those people, you can literally watch it happen live. In this video, I finally attacked Steve. It's a joke. It even says right there, joking. I made the title, I finally attacked Steve, as a lighthearted joke to him, right? And it says joking. The title's been the same the entire time. I finally attacked Steve. Joking. I'm going to criticize him, though, is the title. In this live stream, I have criticisms of Steve's behavior. Those criticisms were that he was bringing a 7-year-old boy, Katie's son, onto Twitter, into his Twitter literal attacks, and criticizing the boy for not looking that sick, even though he knew the boy had 3 brain surgeries and a bunch of other. So I criticized him for that, but I also criticized him for a few other things in this video. And while I'm live, before he even hears me out, he starts telling people that I'm going to need corrected, that I'm wrong in my opinion, and that he put out a blanket defense mechanism before my show even started, that I was wrong. And ever since that happened, he has consistently attacked me. 2 days later, I sit and I see people sending me all the attacks Steve made on me through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. He had a lot of his cronies were helping him do it. I made this video that proves that Steve McCrae was lying when he attacked me, because I've got his messages in that video right there that show that the only reason that he's attacking me is because I criticized him. And the thing he's saying that I didn't update my channel with, I did it live in this video. In fact, you can go to this video, see Steve's words for yourself, see what it is that he said, and then watch this video and see that I did tell my audience what he wanted me to say. I did represent his defense in my criticism video, which I shouldn't have to. I should be able to make the criticism video and then update my channel after that with another video that updates the situation. But since then, it's been constant attack after constant attack after constant attack. And instead of me feeding it, I've been on the Rock-A-Lot channel getting caught up and getting updated every day with more of the story until Kyle finally jumped into the Rock-A-Lot channel live chat on the Non-Sequitur account, logged into the Non-Sequitur account. Kyle jumps in to my live chat and says, Uni, email me. Here's my email address. And then today, I finally talked to him. That's why we're here discussing this right now. Just so you know, back to the live chat. If I can get my song working. Oh, it kicked in. Good. I'm about to get mad. Because my soundboard manager isn't... Oh, you think it's funny, ding dong? You think it's funny that you don't like running the soundboard correctly, huh? Me and you were talking in the after show there, ding dong face. Okay. Thanks at the Traveling Sasquatch. I'm glad somebody besides me liked that one. I wish I'd know what you're talking about, guys. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Okay, crew of UNIRockers and Raiders, check their swords, got it. Yeah, he was going mental in the live chat. He was going so freaking mental. He was losing his damn mind that I was criticizing him. Live! Not only there, but also in Discord, and then he went to his show and lost his mind. And ever since then, I've been the bad guy because I was willing to criticize the King Emperor Steve. That's why he's been labeled an emperor, and that the empire has turned against him. That's why these memes have happened. That's why he's been labeled the Grinch that stole Christmas, because in the video, Versus Mode Part 2 involving Steve, 1 month ago on my channel, it proves that he did lie about a super chat drive for Leslie Bass in order to get more outrage donations and more hate driven towards Katie. And because then after the first criticism, I had the nerve to call him out provably and factually on Versus Mode Part 2, he has now told everybody I'm a liar so that he can defend himself. But I'm not the first one. He's done this to Aaron Raw. He's done this to every other person that has criticized him for anything. They immediately become the bad guy. The reason why, do you want to know the real reason Steve got kicked off the Non-Sequitur show? Because I know it now. I have the clip. In fact, please make sure that the first clip is there, because I'm going to show the audience finally what's going on in my current live stream room. The first clip where Shannon Q finally steps up to Steve and calls him out on a lie, and he admits it. 2, I want the second thing I just brought up. I don't remember what it was now that I've ran my mouth, but I want the second clip. You know what clip it is. Put it in there after it for me, please. Yep, this drama does get old until Kyle gets here Wednesday, and then it'll be completely a new story because we'll finally have the other side. Keon says, philosophy and religion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Steve said that Kyle had until December 9th to show up in the court. He didn't. Why the judge didn't order to go to Kyle's house and open the books? Because he doesn't have to open the books. First, Steve has to prove that he's owed something in the first place. Steve appearing on the show doesn't prove it. Steve and Kyle arguing about how much that Steve deserves to be paid in the Death of the Non-Sequitur show proves to me that they never had it ironed out how much Steve would get paid, and Steve just left it up to Kyle how much to allow him to be paid. And after Steve destroyed Non-Sequitur, destroyed the show, and behaved the way he did in harassing several women, allegedly, and the other things that he did, this is all what Kyle said, After all that happened and he went off into hiding, he just didn't care what Steve said after that, and he wasn't going to help Steve with anything because Steve was behind the harassment and the hate mob that was going at Kyle, and he was behind it. He really was. I even go live on my channel to explain to everybody that, yes, Steve has talked about how bad of a person Kyle is and how much you should hate him over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But how do we know how it feels when we have our channel stolen from us? Was my response due to what Steve had promised me and told me and showed me. Well, now that I know that it was a bunch of contrived bullshit based on lies and based on his own filtered information, I'm not going to defend him for all the hate that he threw at Kyle because it was not based on any real thing. If it was, he would have already shown the evidence to defend himself up to now. Now, if Steve wants to freaking, I don't know, produce the contract right now, maybe I'll change my mind, but he hasn't. A few days ago, he produced an unsigned written agreement that didn't even say 50-50 that I saw. I'm just telling you what I saw, man. All of it is subject to update Wednesday. But because that agreement wasn't filed, it shows they had no agreement, folks. Skeptics should be saying these things. Skeptics should be saying, now, hold on a minute, Steve. Why is that paper not filed and stamped and shown to us with a 50-50 written on it when you promised us that you have a written agreement? He didn't have a written agreement. He lied to all of us, or else he'd show it by now. And he's finally going to get called out for it, and Kyle's finally going to stand up for himself, regardless of the amount of threats and doxing and harassing he gets from people. He's going to step up and finally tell you guys what he's not been saying for all this time. And yes, I know what these guys do. I've got a clip of them doing it now from a couple days ago on this channel. They do sit and look for your location. They do threaten you with your location. And when they see people doing that stuff, none of them object. None of them call each other out for it because they all agree with it. They all like that shit. I was still shocked that Mrs. Co-host herself didn't say, guys, don't fucking sit and threaten Uni with his location. It's fucked up, and instead just change the subject. Never once disavowing threatening me with my location. Got me? You see where I'm going with this? This is why Kyle didn't speak up. Now that Steve has shown his true hand, we know why Kyle didn't speak up. We know why he dipped out and didn't pay attention to anything that was going on. That's my opinion. Subject to change on Wednesday during the interview. Just saying. Oh, my chat is skipping so fast I can barely read what you guys are saying. I'm trying. I'm sorry. I'm trying. He wanted to get at Katie so bad that I think it just blinded him, so he took her word without fact-checking anything. There would have been a proof of 50-50 first, though, says Scarlett. Yes, that's my problem. Do you want to know what what Steve promised me in the very beginning of non-sequitur breakup? He came to me and told me that he couldn't give me the agreement right then, but I'd have it soon, and that he had a contract. Well, a month or so later, when people start asking for it and they remind me, weren't you supposed to get a contract of the 50-50? I'm like, yeah, I'll ask Steve, don't worry. Then it turned into a written agreement, well, hold on now. I didn't say contract. I said written agreement. He did say contract at first. I'm just telling you, he did. Then it was, some of you heard it. I know you did. Then it turned into written agreement. So then we're like, okay, well, we need the written agreement. Well, I had to give it to my lawyer, so you got to give me time to get it, but I'll get it to you. So a few more months go by and people start pressing for the written agreement. Ends up just falling to the wayside. Then it's emails. Well, then he gets pissed off when I end up finding the Shannon Q clip, which I'm going to pull up in just a minute. I end up finding it on the Rock-A-Lot channel and seeing it, and I get pissed. And I'm like, Steve McCrae sat on my YouTube channel and said the direct opposite of that to everybody and acted all virtue signaling and shit about it, lying to everyone. So is he lying when he sat on my show telling everybody this for months, or is he lying to Shannon Q right here on the day of the non-sequitur breakup? Which is it? Who's he lying to? And I get mad. So what does he do? He thinks he's going to defend himself by showing all of him and Kyle's communication to prove that they had a 50-50, because one time there it says the word 50-50 in his conversation with Kyle. But I said to everybody, okay, what did Kyle say to Steve when he said we need a 50-50? What's Kyle's response? Kyle's response was the letters E and W next to each other. Ew. That was Kyle's response in Steve's own screenshots. So I start asking these questions. Of course, he attacks me. Then it's time to dox me. They can't dox me, so now they want to dox Rachel. Then they want to threaten me with my location. They even sent me a cease and desist over Sean Hufford. I don't even know why. I didn't even talk about Sean, but I will, I guess. I'll talk about him in a minute since he wants to send me a cease and desist. I'll talk about him in a minute, I guess. The minute Steve had an issue with Kyle, the channel, and the money, he should have lawyered up and gone after Kyle that way. All the public attacks, etc., didn't do Steve any favors. Well, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Why didn't he immediately get a lawyer and go get his shit? He did it later. He did it a whole while later, didn't he? You know why he didn't? Because I think in the beginning, he started lying. This is my opinion. Subject to change. I'll update you on my opinion Wednesday. I truly think Steve lied. And he got so many people that believed him because he was willing to fabricate clips and evidence and things and pull things out of context and cherry pick that he started to believe it himself. And once he convinced himself of it, he was like, he had somebody reach out to him like, I'm going to pay for your court cost because I want to. And then he was like, he couldn't say no to that. How's he going to say no to somebody paying for a lawyer for him? And he thought, well, I'll go sit down with the lawyer and we're going to do it. I think it was just he got too cocky with it. Maybe he just thought he could convince the judge. Maybe he thought he was good enough to con the judge. But I hope Kyle calls the lawyer. I really do. I hope Kyle calls the lawyer and just simply tells the lawyer, I can't come down there. I can't show up. I'm dealing with things in my life. I can't do it. But here's my response. It's my channel. He didn't get owed shit. Make him prove it to you because he can't. And then if he just calls the judge alone, then how's Steve going to prove it? We already know he's so narcissistic. He is the definition of a narcissist. It's not an insult. It's just the truth. Go watch his shit. Tell me it's not true. He's so narcissistic. If he had some big evidence bomb, he would have dropped it, in my opinion. What pisses me off is that everything he drops, he's talking to Kyle as if Kyle is his boss. Go watch the clips again. Go watch the death of Non-Sequitur. Why is Red's Rhetoric and Steve talking to Kyle as if Kyle is their boss? Then, when they say, no, it's half my channel, Kyle says, no, it's not, and he laughs at them like they're bullshitting. Like, why are they saying this? That's fucking not even true. Then, Kyle realizes it. They've been recording the whole conversation, and they're going to release it. And they did record him without permission. They did. Now that they're at court, should bring that up to the judge. How they tried to get him into a conversation, record it without his knowledge, and then release it to people. Because it is that way, in my opinion. Sure, they record things for fucking the beginning of shows. But in the beginning, what changed my mind? If you go watch Death of Non-Sequitur, in the beginning, he says, I don't want this live. Now, I know what that means. He doesn't want this recorded. He doesn't want this live. He doesn't want this getting out. He wasn't saying just not to live stream it. Kyle was definitely saying, I don't want this streamed or recorded or whatever when he said, I don't want this live. When we do a show, when we do a live show and we say we don't want this live, we are meaning we don't want this broadcasted. We want people seeing what we're talking about, right? So I just feel that way now. I'm sorry, I don't want to say it that way. I feel it's equally as possible. My point isn't that you should love Kyle. That's not my point. My point isn't for you to forgive Kyle. Did I ever say that? Fuck no. My point is that what happened with Non-Sequitur is provably equally Steve's fault and responsibility as much as Kyle. I want Kyle to be able to take the funds and actually give Steve what they agreed that Steve got. If they didn't agree to anything, then Kyle is, once again, right in being able to not pay him anything. But do I still think you should pay Steve something? Yeah, I do. I just think that you don't sit... It's just too much, y'all. We're going to look at these clips. My chat's skipping again. Let me see what you're saying. I'm sorry. Steve, somebody says Steve is going live in 30 minutes, and the title says, you're going to save Kyle. I don't even know what that means. No, I'm going to interview him. I'm interviewing him and getting his side. I don't know why Steve is so scared. He's literally fucking scared. I don't get it. What's he scared of if he has agreement, if he won the court case, if everything is won and good? What is he worried about? Why is he scared of Kyle telling his damn side, y'all? I don't fucking get it. Somebody tell me. Somebody type it in. I agree, Nikki. I do. Steve threatened people on the internet to stop watching NonSeq, people who are clearly not on his tribe. After that, they went after people showing up on the channel. Yeah, I got that information tonight too, a little bit. Kyle admitted on video, and more importantly, he admitted it in court when he did not contest the claim. That's what? Are you freaking brainwashed? What did he admit on video first? Tell me what he admitted on video, because I went back and watched it. He admitted that he said he would pay Steve 50-50 of the videos that Steve was on. That's what I heard him admit when I go back and watch it. So you got to go back and watch those videos again and ask yourself, have yourself not go in pre-programmed. Go in neutral. Go in and say to yourself, watch it from one side, like you're sitting in the chair saying what Kyle's saying, then watch it from the other side. You're sitting in the chair saying what Steve is saying, okay? You get me? Because I do think it's wrong. Again, I think Steve should be paid for what he was agreed to be paid for. That has never changed. That part of this has never changed for me. Should he have the channel? If it was a 50-50, then I think that the judge has to make up the mind. The judge is going to tell them to dissolve it, to be fair. The judge isn't just going to get the keys from Kyle and hand it to Steve, but if he can prove a 50-50, why doesn't Steve just go live tonight and just show the agreement that they had right now? Show the agreement they had, because I want to show you where Steve lied to me really quick, and we're going to get off here and go watch Steve's stream, so it'll be fun. Wait, I think the Non Sequitur show is in my chat. Hold up. Let me check it to see if it's him. Yes! Kyle, what is up, dude? What is up? Let me give you a freaking wrench in here. So let me click it so everybody can see it. Non Sequitur show, hello all. Go to channel. Now Steve's aneurysm starts now. Steve McCrae just shit his pants, had an aneurysm, and did a backflip while still sitting in his chair. That's an image. I want to see it too. Yeah, even the poo-poo. You freak. Busy's a freak. I stated that Steve lied about everything. Did I? You need to rewind. I pretty much specified what I was saying when I said that. Go back and listen to it again. Rewind, big guy. Uni, no, sarcastic, says Corkface. He's a tool, Steve. He's been lying from the start, and I believed, but I'm glad he brought me to you. Me too. Kyle admitted on a video that they were 50-50 partners. He didn't, though. That's why I'm saying we just heard that. I went back and watched it, and they are all arguing when this happened, right? They are arguing when this whole admission. I thought the same thing. That's why I said this, Philosophy. This is why I said this to you. When I went and watched it originally, I heard them talk about 50-50 agreements, while at the same time, Red butts in and talks about 50-50. And then Kyle's sitting there and stopping, and then he's like listening to them and answering. You really have to go really slow through it, because he answers and you think he's answering Steve, but really Red's just jumped in. And then it makes you wonder, why the fuck is Red's there anyway? It's insane, because when you think about why, if you listen to what Reds is saying, he's adding in nonsense. He's adding in a bunch of nonsense right before Kyle should be answering a really hard thing. A really powerful piece of information should be coming out of Kyle's mouth to be able to complete what we think about this stupid situation, right? Then Red's rhetoric jumps in with a 2-minute speech, and then Kyle answers, and you're like, wait, You got to rewind and go, did Kyle answer the 50-50 ownership of the channel? Did he answer the 50-50 paid for what he's in? When he said 50-50, if you go back and watch it, they were talking about 50-50 paid to Steve for videos he was in. That's what Kyle was talking about. Okay, if you go back and watch it again, and don't just close your mind down. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm literally saying it happened to me too. I had closed my mind down. I had let myself watch the damn thing, thinking that might also, okay? That's why I did the videos I did. I was convinced. But when you watch it slow and you pause it and then you rewind it and you watch it again and you ask yourself, what's Kyle admitting to here? 50-50 for the videos that he gets paid for, or the whole channel? And then it makes sense when you hear him say, I am non sequitur. He's not saying that the whole non sequitur was him. He's not getting cocky and saying that he made everything. What he's saying is that I own non sequitur. It's my channel. I own it. I make the final decision. In my opinion, it's just as likely that's being said as the other. So my final piece, the final thought that I'm trying to get out of my mouth to all of you is that what happened between non sequitur, we were defending Steve McCrae overly because we thought this very bad thing had been done to him. In reality, it's not real that this bad thing happened to Steve. What is real is that they both fucked up, and that we are trying to pin all responsibility for everything bad that happened on Kyle so that we can forgive Steve for all the bad shit that he did. Then we're trying to assume the ownership of the channel without really knowing. We're trying to assume what kind of agreements they have and that they don't, so that we can go defend Steve out there on the internet as his social freaking justice squad. That is what's going on, because they are both responsible. You can't just go attack Kyle without attacking Steve with it. If you want to get on Kyle about how he messed up here, you can equally find something that Steve did here. What did Kyle do wrong here when in regards to the channel? Steve did that too when he did this. They both caused the downfall of a really good channel. They both were equally responsible in the same way that their personality traits caused people to watch it and like it. The personality traits conflicted with each other to a point that both of them caused the downfall of their channel. The bad thing about this is that after it was done, Steve McCrae drew a line in the sand and asked us to pick sides. And the people that were left on his side, he incited them to go, do all this dumb fucking, I'm on Steve's side. Steve's the king type dumb shit. And it's not even obvious. It's just apparent. It's just go look and see if it didn't happen that way. It did. We are letting him be blameless in this. Why did he lie to us so much then? He didn't misspeak. He blatantly changed his story. Let me show you where he did. Hopefully my mods have it in my current live stream room for me. Oh, they do. Let me go ahead and prep this up for you. All right.
That the problem.
All right. I don't know if this is the right timestamp. I think it's like 40 or 30 something, right?
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where.
Which is what is hot. Phone with him because he's upset.
Very beginning, middle, to make that.
Because this whole NIFB stuff is starting to.
Okay, I need the timestamp if somebody will. You're gonna have to type it for me too. You have to timestamp it. You have to timestamp it here for me. I can't get the timestamp by copying. I need the stamp. Can you hit play and then type the stamp for me, please? I know it starts there, but it's not starting there when I copy the link is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's starting at the beginning. I'm not getting it. So get the stamp for me, and then I'll read the live chat, and when you guys get the timestamp for me, I'll play it. Okay. Yes, he should have argued in court, but he didn't. Just because he didn't argue in court doesn't mean we shouldn't hear his side. Doesn't mean we shouldn't look at the dumb shit Steve did in this. And if you're going to hate on Kyle for shit, if Steve did make mistakes that are Kyle-level mistakes, what you thought Kyle had done wrong or what you still think Kyle did wrong, if he did that, then by fairness sake, you should also be giving him flack for it. Criticism for it by flack. You get me? No, I will not donate the super chats for anything. So if you don't want a super chat, you might as well not. Only super chat if you want me to have the money. There you go. A binding contract, the default judgment is assigned by contract. There is no contract, thus the default judgment means nothing. I think that's what I thought too, Valor, but people are trying to rewrite court for us. 56 minutes. Thank you, my friend. Keon, can you tell me the other timestamp too? Because one was 56 and then there was another good one. I want people to hear both of them.
Very contentious arguments that have affected people. So I'm not going to list the names of some of the people that I had a difficult time booking, but there are people that have flat out refused to come on the show because that show is affiliated with.
You're right, Philosophy. Philosophy said there's a lot of YouTube lawyers that have no clue about anything. Exactly. That's my point. We need Kyle's side. We need to hear it. We need to compare it to the evidence. We can even look at Kyle's evidence. We need to compare it to what Steve said, what he pushed, what he did. We need to see if there's any lies that it exposed from Steve McCrae's side, which already there are several out there, and call him out for it. If he wants us to go around calling people out for him, he must have no problem when he does something effed up to get called out for it, right? I mean, we're talking about fairness here. We're talking about all that, right?
Steve McCrae. I myself have taken slings and arrows because you are a friend.
I'm sorry, guys. Normally my window blocks that, but it doesn't. I changed my window. We got new skyscraper windows. Do you like them? I like them. I just like them.
Mine. And I refused to throw you under the bus or throw non.
I do agree, yes. Steve was blaming Katie that she helped him lose $30,000. He deserves criticism for that kind of thing. It's wrong. It's messed up.
NonSeq under the bus.
I get it, Philosophy. I'm with you. That's why I'm not kicking you out, and I'm reading what you say. I'm trying to present your points, which I think are good points for us to hear and think about to the people, right? And I'd like to do that for the other people in the chat, too, whether you do back Steve or whether you do back Kyle. Yeah, you got me. I think that the community has been treating the non sequitur breakup as if it was Kyle's fault and as if Steve McCrae got screwed over. That is not the truth. I'm not standing up here and telling you to forgive Kyle. I'm still keeping the criticism of Kyle right where it is. I am taking Steve McCrae, who has been forgiven of everything wrong he ever did, and I'm telling you that if you are a skeptic, if you are trying to get, justice in the story and be right in it, he is equal to Kyle, at least equal to Kyle. It is 50-50. They both let the channel fall because of both of their own actions, because of mistakes they made, because of narratives that some of them ran, because of lies that... Now, the problem is I can't say Kyle ran narratives. I can't say that Kyle did this or that because Kyle went quiet and took off, and we've literally had Mr. Yells and Screams and Stinks and tells everybody what to think, telling us how to think this whole time. And if you're going to let him do that, then... I don't know what you're doing. Why don't you just go hang out over there? You don't need to be here, that's for sure.
Despite me ardently disagreeing with the things that you say sometimes because of the manner in which you can conduct.
Okay, Jimmy, I like you, but I don't want to block you in here, okay? I don't want to block you. Please, it's just, I'm going to have to, though. I mean, if you want me to, I can, I guess. Our top said we need Kyle's side. It's the one side we rarely hear in Kyle's own words, in my opinion. I agree.
Yourself sometimes in public and the arguments that you choose to engage in. And that is a direct detriment to booking guests on and garnering viewers for the show.
Okay. My turn. And Shannon, this is going to be very hard for you to hear. It's not your show. It's not for your job to book anybody. The bookings were done by me and Kyle. I have people that wouldn't come on because of.
It's okay, Jimmy, but seriously, bro, I don't know why I didn't just kick you out. Seriously, if that's how you feel, just get out of here, dude. I call other people out for that. Just because I like you, I have to call you out too, bro. What in the world is worth it saying they're both Katie bitches? What does that even mean? What is going on with that shit? If you're trolling, just let the mods kick you.
Other guests that are on Non Sequitur show. I have people that won't come on, and I'm not going to say names because of people that Kyle on has co-host. Okay, I have,
which is absolute lie. What now? You've got people that you invited on that have told you they won't come back because Kyle's the That's just a bold-faced lie, but this isn't the clip. I think the clip's coming up. If it's not, then we'll just scrap it and I'll show it later.
a very difficult time booking people as well. Okay, and I have people that
That's just not true. I don't even know what you're talking about. You would have stand up and screamed that shit from the rooftop so loud it would have echoed down to freaking Nebraska and back.
have booked that want to come on that Kyle says, no, we're taking a different direction. I never responded to them. It's not your job to get books. You have your show on your channel, right? That you simulcast, that Dave does, simulcast to the Non Sequitur show.
What? See, it's almost like
That's your show.
I hear him talk now and I'm just like, how the fuck did I ever defend any of this?
That has been simulcast. You can choose not to simulcast it to the Non Sequitur show. That's not the Non Sequitur show. That is your Q&A show on the Non Sequitur show channel.
Absolutely.
Wait, let me finish. You booking guest is for
Okay,
your.
I gotta skip ahead.
I will because I could give a personal story.
I'll come back to this 58:20 because I just got the timestamp. I think 1 hour and 34 minutes. That sounds about right. I don't know. Let's see.
It doesn't matter. You're losing people either way.
He cut Dave out. Dave Bullinator, which is.
Well, now we know why Bull got cut out. Now we know why. You want to know why? I can tell you why. It's actually a pretty damn good reason why.
Not that he necessarily cut Dave out.
He did.
He did.
He removed him. He took the access away, Shannon.
And in Facebook, when this happened with Facebook, by the way, that's established.
Steve definitely has. I am and being the most. I'll come on. There is a.
No, there's people.
Hang on. Impossible about change.
Gonna happen. Who cares?
Not one.
Oh, shut up.
I didn't know.
Let
Shannon.
the two people talk.
So
Yeah,
and also
part of the.
Anyway, somebody get me the timestamp if you will. I know that there is some. Let me tag somebody who I know can get it for me really quick so we can hear it. Find the timestamp where Shannon calls him out for the yes, you did tell Kyle not to pay you over and over, and she says Social Security or something like that, and he agrees. Let me see if I can get a couple people to find this clip for me really fast. Who else? Let me just tag everybody. Find this clip for me. You'll know it's right as Shannon says the word Social Security, and I'll read the chat until I get a timestamp or two. If not, I'll play it when Kyle comes Wednesday. No biggie. Music, reading the chat, and we'll figure out what we're doing. These aren't powerful points from Steve at all. Like, you're brainwashed as fuck. These are blatant lies from Steve. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh wow, dude, these sock accounts with no fucking hi Steve, nice to see ya. Really good name for your sock. I'll talk about Sean in a little bit. I'll just tell you what happened because it's dumb. Any decent human would have waited a few days longer, not Steven Reds. They were only concerned about doing a show. It's no wonder Kyle told them to bolt. I'd have to hold them to bolt. If it's proven that they owned the bike together, no court would deem the ownership as expired due to no written agreement. But it's not, there's nothing proven though. That's what I want. So philosophy, you're saying that you know that there's an agreement. Just send it to me. I'll play it right now. I will play the evidence that there was a written agreement on the show. or that there is an agreement, not a written agreement, an agreement. He's got me saying it now. Show me the evidence of where everybody can rest assured that it was co-ownership and not. Because I do have a clip of them talking about the podcast. I don't have anything for the YouTube channel. I've got a clip saying they're not going to start a YouTube channel. And that the YouTube channel isn't even brought up in that original thing. It's in the clip that I have. So it's like, I can't even use that. And I wish I could, because I would. His dog told me, says the... Thanks for reading it. It was about Kyle waiting for his medical results that week and was low on Steve and Red's part. Look, and that's the thing. We've got to let all of this stuff go, okay? We have to let go all of the, what is called, no offense to you, drama. That is clouding our judgment of how to feel about this. All the drama that's being inserted in this are done by the people out there that claim they're not about the drama and they don't care about the drama. Yet, they, not you guys, I'm talking about the YouTubers in this situation, are the ones who consistently try to put focus on drama in order to cloud the issue. I want, at least on this channel, to take all the cloud of the drama out of it. Just wipe it away. Open the window. Let the drama get sucked out like smoke. It's gone. The drama's out. Now, look at the situation from a neutral standpoint, from a logical standpoint, and start making good points. You want a powerful point? One powerful point is the fact that Steve thought showing us that they were about to make an agreement and ended up not doing it was good for his side, because he wanted to say, see, we thought about doing an agreement, but that is just more evidence that they didn't do an agreement and that Kyle decided, due to Steve's behavior, to do his own thing and to kick him out and change the show. And yes, you don't like the new show that Kyle was doing. And a lot of people didn't like the new show that Kyle was doing. We know that. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the power to do it. We are conflating issues due to the emotional connection that all of us had, worrying about certain people being backstabbed, worrying about certain people not getting paid, people that weren't being honest with us about it, by the way. 136. Okay. Let me see.
Ask it. Stood.
It's part where Shannon's talking, and she just completely
making the argument that there's empty promises and that there's money that was never given to him, and that it's been promised to him, but he doesn't know.
No, that was anti-ordinary. She said that he needs to take a shower, and I can't disagree. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like Anti's got a point.
If he can trust that promise. And I'm saying if Kyle emails him the money.
Yeah, this is a good, I think it's at like 36 minutes. Anyway, somebody needs to get in here for me and find it. Maybe I should tag in general because I don't know where everybody is. Hold on, let me jump to general and ask someone. Somebody go to current live stream room and start looking through the last clip above where I was typing and find the timestamp where Shannon says that shit about Social Security as her response. We'll play that. What is it? What is it? This is it? This spot here? I'll know because I should have people in the Discord finding it right now and then typing it to me in general. Just go ahead and type it to me in general. All right. Let's keep reading the chat. So, like, when do these people ever talk about science or philosophy? I've been following for a couple of months and, like, where it be. You'll find it years ago on the Non-Sequitur show. Play it from here. It's the 136, but there's a few minutes trying to find the exact. Oh, that's why we haven't found it yet.
That was promised to him tomorrow.
No, I want to see the financial.
Will that be at least a partial resolution?
Okay, I think this is it. I do think this is it. So let's go ahead and get ready.
Well, no. Whatever.
Thank you, Thomas.
With the financials.
No.
Can I say one thing?
You could go with.
Oh my God.
Hang on.
I need to go to bed. I can't. Like, this is just going to go in circles, and I don't know all the details. So essentially, I'm sitting in here with.
Shady Blady says puny cock is a liar. So sad. Well, Shady Blady, you being obsessed with my genital area is creepy. So sad.
Other people who don't know.
We need
arguing the details when I'd like it's just gonna go.
No, you're not. You're not obsessed with it. You're not allowed to be obsessed with it. You shut up over there. You hear me?
I'm really excited for the next 3 weeks of my life. I can't wait for everybody to.
I really don't think this is it, y'all. I really don't think this is it. I'm sure someone will get it for me. 145. Oh, that's way off of one. It's not 145, I don't think, guys. 146. Are you sure? You just heard it? You just heard it. Are you sure it starts at 146? Because everybody's giving me like 20 minutes ahead timestamps.
Paid in all caps. He has to.
Let's talk about how you're going to get it to me.
Oh, we found it. We found it. So not only there are some blatant revelations in this clip, if you would like to hear them. They are very big revelations. Here we go.
He has never once told me how he's going to get it to me. He's never offered to have a discussion of how he's going to get it to me. I said, Kyle, that's fine. Let's figure.
So Steve is going on a tirade here, and this really pisses me off, and it should my audience too. Here's why. My audience are the ones that know for a fact that he came here telling us with his mouth hole over and over. So I better not hear anyone that defending him on this, because he did it. And he didn't do it once. He did it like 65 times, saying that he only told Kyle to hold his money for a short period of time so he could get financial advice and blah, blah, blah. Now, listen to him agree with Shannon, because Shannon knows the truth and heard the conversation between Kyle and Steve due to her being on the show. Listen to Shannon call him out on the big lies that have been being told for a 2-hour conversation, getting pissed off that he's doing this, checks him on it, and he lets her do it, and then agrees with her, which, by the way, does contradict a huge part of his narrative. Just so you know, this is truthful, this is factual, this is what happened. Here you go.
Figure out how you're going to get it to me. I thought he was going to bring it to me in October when we had this meeting in October.
Now, he's saying, now hear this, listen to it. He's going to bring him his non-sequitur money in October in a duffel bag and hand it to him in person and not have it in a receipt or in the books or anything, or not log it. He's going to pay him under the table in October is what he just said. There's a reason why this hasn't been shared around. This is the day they recorded him. So they recorded Kyle on the Death of the Non Sequitur show. 5 minutes after the conversation, they go live and talk about it. No one's seen it yet, but here's what he says.
He can bring cash to me, okay? But he has never asked me about how he says, I've told him, he said, how do you want it? I said,
oh, he never asked you. Well, then how did he say how you want it? And then how did you guys have this conversation?
Well, let's discuss it. I said, fine, we'll have a discussion on it. That discussion never happened.
That discussion never happened, did it? Did it never happen? Because I think the Death of the Non Sequitur has part of that discussion literally recorded.
And by the way, in order for that discussion to happen,
shut up, Reds.
2 options that can flush down the toilet.
Give Bullinator 10% of Mike's share and 10% of Kyle's share, so it'd be 70.
When does Rachel? When does Shannon jump in? I'm already at 148. Rachel, I'm already at 148, and I don't hear Shannon talking. I just want the Shannon part. What? I couldn't hear you. Sorry. Hold on. It's a long stream. Oh, hold on. Shannon's talking here. Let's see.
I'm not. If I was doing this for the money, I would. I'm atheist. I'm okay.
Good talk. Good talk, everyone.
I'm gonna also go over some.
Yeah, this isn't the timestamp, y'all. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to find it for me and bring it to me. Just tell me where the Shannon says. She'll say the word Social Security. I think it's at like 45 minutes in. I think somebody was looking for it in Discord. They'll find it. 145.53. Okay, here we go. Timestamp number 64. I don't even see Shannon talking at 145.53 though.
Paid in all caps.
Do I got the wrong one? Important Hangout. Sorry about this. Is that the name? Okay.
He has to do other channels to make the fucking money. I was a patron to support Kyle and Steve. And Steve in all caps. So
Steve?
Sorry, we got it. Okay. So anyway, here it is, and I apologize. I normally have everything ready for you when I go live, but I've been talking and interviewing for hours, so I didn't have anything ready when I went live. Here you go.
Did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension?
Yes. But here's the thing. Excuse time. Now listen to what happened. Now this completely contradicts. Thank you guys for finding the timestamp for me. For future reference, before you give me a timestamp during a live show, it's better to just literally get in the middle of it where like the person that I want to hear is literally talking and let me rewind by a couple seconds instead of giving me 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 50 minutes, hour and 50 minutes ahead just for the future. We'll listen to it twice, but I'm just saying, here you go.
And it would have affected that. And Kyle didn't, because you're making it seem as though Kyle...
What's he doing, by the way? Is he trying to interrupt her and shut her up? And then does his little friends jump in to try to get him out of the horrible lie? I don't know.
Held money from you.
No, let me make this very clear.
Oh, here, I might as well show his face because he gets so fucking pissed and he flips. He was normal. His face was not bright red before this.
I asked, Kyle said he would talk to me how it could be distributed. I asked him, okay, that's fine. Let's talk about how you're going to get it to me. He has never once told me how he's going to get it to me. He's never offered to have a discussion of how he's going to get it to me. I said, Kyle, that's fine.
He just admitted it. Let's go ahead and play it one little time here.
But I said, yeah.
To have money.
Stephen, all caps.
Here it comes.
Steve, did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension?
Yes. So this literally is evidence that Kyle was coming to him trying to pay him, and he was saying, no, don't pay me. Just leave it in the account. Let it stay in the account. Let it gain money. Let it gain interest. What? Now, let's just do a thought exercise. Once again, I'm not giving you my opinion yet because there's so much information, it's hard to get your opinion together. But don't listen to what don't listen to me. Listen to the damn clip. It is him admitting something that he told us the opposite of for months and months and months and months. Something that is a major part of the story. Why? Because if he convinces me as the YouTuber, all of you as the viewership, the rest of the community, that Kyle screwed him over by stealing money from him, then we defend him like freaking idiots across the damn internet scape, looking like freaking sycophants. We look like we're closed-minded, we look like we're idiots, and we go around defending him because, hear me out here, regardless of Kyle's behavior, which, by the way, is equally as of a mistake as Steve's behavior, Steve literally telling him, don't give me my money right now because it'll affect something. That's the opposite. He sat here and said, I didn't not want the money because it would affect something. That's not true. That's been debunked. In fact, do you want to play the Twitter game? You want to play the Twitter war game? Go jump on Twitter and go find all the tweets he put out saying that this wasn't true. Why is he admitting this literally moments after the death of the Non Sequitur show was recorded? Why did he come here and tell me the opposite? Because he fucking knows that it'll instigate us to act a certain way. This is direct proof. No matter what he says, no matter how he goes in and tries to freaking hang the Christmas tree that Uni's a liar and that Kyle and Uni are going to repair. They're going to try to repair Kyle's reputation so they can restart the Non Sequitur show, which, by the way, is not the case. I don't think Kyle's ever going to restart the Non Sequitur show, just so everybody knows, just so you can get it all out of your head. I bet he'll confirm that Wednesday. But the truth of the matter is, the shit that he said here, he lied. Directly. Who's he lying to? Is he lying to Shannon Q and all the other people in this hangout, which, by the way, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that should have stood up throughout the whole story and corrected him on this, but they were too busy understanding what he wanted the community to do, understanding which information would prep and prod the community to go a certain way. He knew how important the narrative was of Kyle ripped him off. It's Kyle's fault that he didn't get paid. It's Kyle's fault that he doesn't have money for his daughter. It's Kyle's fault that he has a headset that's broke. He could have bought a new headset with that money that Kyle tried to give him. He could have bought a new place to live. He could have started a new show. Point number 2 that's a massive lie. If he really wants the Non Sequitur show back so bad so that he can continue Non Sequitur from here to the moon like him and Woody are about to launch up and... Wait, which one's Woody? Which one's the spaceman? Buzz? So him and Buzz can launch to the moon in their toy rocket ship and become million subscriber YouTubers. Why does he need the Non Sequitur show YouTube channel? I've got a YouTube channel right here with 17,000 subs. I've got another channel with 38,000 subs. I'm not using the channel with 38,000 subs, but I got a pretty damn good show over here. I got a pretty big show with a lot of viewers on this channel. I've got a third channel with 400 subs that had 200 people, 300 watching. I almost had just as many people watching that show as I had subscribers the other day. That's the truth, by the way. So why does he need the specific show of Non Sequitur? He never planned on revamping Non Sequitur. He never planned on continuing it. He wanted to use you to attack Katie Joy. Why did he attack Katie Joy? What did he say about attacking Katie Joy? He told you specific lies, as you can see on my channel in Versus Mode Part 2 and in other videos that prove beyond any shadow of any doubt whatsoever. There are videos here like the Versus Mode Part 2, Leslie Bastileit's channel, Emperor versus Empire. More importantly, my response to the last few days involving Steve McCrae. My update, it took 2 days. World-ending realizations. Finally attack Steve, I'm joking. All these videos detail specific narratives Steve McCrae pushed on information that he knew for a fact was a lie. So my point is not that Kyle Curtis should be forgiven. My point is I do think he should be at some point if he's willing to correct the actions personally, as I would say for you for things you do wrong, as long as you're willing to correct them and they're not so egregious like some certain very, very, very serious crimes. I'd say the same thing for you in being forgiven for something you do wrong also. The opposite of cancel culture, the ability for somebody to learn what they did wrong, make up for it, show that they're not going to make those mistakes again type thing, not being forgiven in any way, not being redeemed in any way. That is a... Let's wait for it, UNIRock, who has coming with the nuclear freaking mental mind thought bombs right now. Narrative that's exactly akin to the same narrative being put out about me interviewing Kyle Curtis on Wednesday. He is prepping and prodding the entire community, even you. He wants all of you to see his tweet where he says, his title of his new live stream he's scheduled in the tweets, Uni is trying to revamp Kyle's thing. And now watch, there'll be these little troll sock accounts that run around pushing a narrative that Uni's trying to revamp the Non Sequitur show with Kyle. Uni's trying to do all... I'm not trying to do shit. This dude's pushing the narratives. And I'm busting him for it. That's what's happening. That's why he's made me target enemy number 1. That's why he's made me the bad guy. That's why I can't end my video series on the Non Sequitur show by interviewing Kyle and doing a video without him protecting it with a lot of narratives. I can't do my series on the Great Debate Community, which is a YouTube channel that Steve runs. By the way, it's the only reason he even got included with Non Sequitur. You're gonna shit a brick when you find out the damn truth about Steve McCrae's internet history. He stole a community called the Great Debate Community. It is easy to prove this. He knowingly stole a community called the Great Debate Community and he started a Google Plus group and a YouTube channel for it, monetized it, kicked out all the original members of this community. Going back 5 years, this community had all these people being a member of it, and they all, stood up and said, hey, Steve, you can't name your Google Plus group this or name your channel this unless you're going to run it as a community. That's why they all try to expose him. They're not trolls. People like Heretic, people like Nate Brody, people like Dragnaut, Silvis. They're not trolls. They are people that were original members of the Great Debate Community for many, many years. Steve McCrae met Dragnaut. He brought him into the Great Debate Community, and when Steve kicked out Dragnaut, Nate Brody, Heretic, and others, including Aaron Raw, and yes, even including G-Man, when he stole the Great Debate Community from the original Great Debate Community members, that's the only reason that Kyle Curtis approached him to do the Non Sequitur show. In fact, I can show evidence that Kyle Curtis had 4 episodes of NonSeq without Steve. Steve was a guest on one of those episodes of NonSeq. How does Steve own this shit when he wasn't even an original founding person to start it, is the point. Now, I'm not making these positive claims. I'm telling you something that I've been working on for a few weeks. And while I've been working on it, that's when I started to get threatened. It's when I started to have people trying to dox me like crazy. It's when people tried to dox Rachel. It's when I recorded Steve and AT2 Productions trying to dox me and threaten me with my location. And yes, Steve McCrae is also guilty. For any of you that want to defend him, he was listing my age to give information to those guys so they could narrow down which person I was out of these possible doxes. Sorry, Steve, you got recorded doing it because you were too drunk to know you were live streaming. You forgot. It's whatever, dude. Let it be. It's fine. I'm just trying to show you that this all's happening. You can hate me forever after this. You don't have to watch me ever again, dude. You could straight up hate UNIRock on YouTube, and I'll be fine with it because I'm just going to still do what I do. But the point is, shouldn't you at least have the evidence before you go around acting like I need to defend this, I need to defend that, I need to say that Steve McCrae doesn't dox in her ass? Oh, no, that's not true, though. I need to go out and say that Steve McCrae had his channel stolen from him. Actually, no, Steve McCrae is the one that steals channels. He stole the Great Debate community from the people that ran the Great Debate community. You know, these are the things you need to go out and look for yourself, because we all said it to ourselves. Why does he have so many people who try to expose the dumb things that he does constantly? He's got like all these people that try to expose the dumb shit that he does. They follow him for years. Not even my trolls follow me for that long. They get bored and go do something else. This dude's got people that don't stop because they really love that community that he stole. They really love the Great Debate community. They were in it for literal years. You can go out and find their old episodes. We watched them. We watched these guys. These like 30, 40, 50 people sit around talking about how Steve stole their shit. We have the videos of it now. Now, a lot of it got deleted. A lot of the Google Plus posts got deleted because YouTube shut down Google Plus. But at one point, Google Plus was a thriving social network because it was attached to YouTube, the biggest video hosting platform. In fact, all of your comments used to go through Google Plus. That's why if you go look at old comments, they can only be like 300 characters long, and then they get cut off if they were too long. Google didn't save them when they cut away Google Plus. Anyway, all I care about is whether you hate me or not, I am going to interview Kyle Curtis on Wednesday, and I am going to finish my video series. I'm not inserting myself into any drama. Steve McCrae, for months, told me that he was thankful that I was covering the Non Sequitur show. Now he will tell you that I've inserted myself into drama. I'm just a troll and a liar and a bad guy. In all reality, I invite all of you to go find the day he started to say that about me. I can tell you right now by looking at one video. Let me show you. As I said earlier, click this video and look at the date on the video. By the way, this was the night. Oh, fuck. My internet's going out. Live at UNIRocktv. Internet hiccup. Let me finish this because my internet's getting wonky. Hold up. Internet hiccup. I'm back. You can see the date, which was December 11th of 2019 is the day that Steve McCrae went from thinking I was a good creator, good video producer, thankful that I was in on the subject, thankful to bring me subjects to cover, thankful that I did my videos, then I turned into the biggest troll, liar, douchebag, can't even, what did you say yesterday, that I can't even tie my own shoes in the morning? I could go into a million insults he's thrown at me, but there you go. My response to any of Steve's insults are one little meme that I might show you here in a minute. But before we get out of here, one last time, I'm going to hit the live chat. Then we're going to go to the Rock-A-Lot channel on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Rock-A-Lot, all one word, and there it is. We're going to go here for my after show tonight. If you want to continue watching it, if you want to have a longer live chat with me, if Logical Troglodyte would like to talk to me live, he's more than welcome to connect to me here and actually speak to me. I've been trying to talk to the guy for days. He's been busy. I've been busy, but I'm going to sit down and talk to him. He invited me to. Well, why don't you just come talk tonight, Logical Troglodyte, on the Rock-A-Lot channel? We can sit and have a fun old, good old time. But that, my friends, is what I'm doing. I'm putting out these videos. A video documentary on how he stole the Great Debate community. The video documentary on what happened to Non Sequitur with both sides' information. But I'm going to give his side. Luckily, I've got 163 videos. I'm just being silly, but I got a bunch of videos, live streams that he's done on many channels that give his side. I don't even have to interview him. I can go out and find any video where he talks about Kyle, any video where he talks about Katie, and get his side for all this garbage. And I'm going to do a video that details Non Sequitur, their breakup, how Steve stole the Great Debate community. I'm going to interview more of the Great Debate community members. I still have like 4 of them to interview. By the way, I know it's shitty of me to tell them that if they want to talk, they can connect to me while we're on the Rock-A-Lot channel. But if they do want to talk, they can just connect to me while we're on the Rock-A-Lot. You can go into the live chat, Drag or whoever, and say, yo, let me talk, and I'll send you a link, okay? Whatever. I don't mind. This is what I do. I like doing these video style documentaries on internet culture, internet events that happen, and I do give both sides fair credit. His side will be put into the Truth of the Non Sequitur show. So will Kyle's side after I interview him. Then I'll show the evidence that we have. I'll show the problems that we have on both sides. So let me give Kyle a criticism. But here's the problem. Even this criticism that I'm going to give Kyle admits to it and says he wants to fix it in the future. But that's true with any of the... When I talked to Kyle, I wasn't just nice to the guy. I called him out on many of the things that I've consistently been saying. Many of them he had a good response to, but several of them he just could say, I did mess up, and I do have to fix that, and I do want to fix my mess ups, and I don't want to mess up like that ever again. And the issue is, I have to respect that from somebody. And this is why you should always wait for both sides' opinions before you make up your mind on these things, right? And I feel bad that I didn't. Although Kyle forgave us, he forgave me, and he made a statement that he forgives anybody that made up their mind quickly because he didn't respond. Although I can honestly say, with the level of threats, doxing, and bullshit that comes from anyone near Steve McCrae, anyone he gets mad at, I can kind of understand why people go and just say fuck the internet when he gets mad. Because he incites this shit. He literally loves it. He loves this shit. He lives it. He eats it. He drinks it. I would say he bathes in it, but I can't. Sorry. Yeah, Valor, I know you know a lot about that kind of thing, right? And I don't. I don't know much about how that shit works. So, you know, we'll find out because supposedly Steve won, and within 30 days, he said he was going to be given his shit. So I guess we don't have to wait long to find out, you know, he's going to get his shit, right? Kent Hovind's cellmate was banned? Holy shit, dude. That dude's famous. Nice. Valor says, I just quoted an actual lawyer. Oh, awesome. Valor quoted a lawyer who said, if the court has entered a default judgment against you, the plaintiff can collect it like any other judgment. If the judge grants your motion, the case starts back up again. Yeah, I don't know the difference between a motion and the other, but it's all good. The real non sequitur. I thought your account said the real non sequitur show. What did you do? Change it? The non sequitur show. I've got no beef with you as a person. We will get caught up in drama. We all get caught up in drama. I mean, we need to hear your side, but you went quiet. Let's all have a dialogue. We're having a dialogue starting Wednesday. I'm sure after Kyle talks to me, you know, after some time goes by, he could start talking to some more people. I actually recommend that Kyle doesn't for at least a week or so, because these guys are doxers. They literally try to threaten a person and say, if you keep talking about these subjects, you're going to have your family's info put out there. That was sent to me. Then Live in a show, they said it, okay? So you can't really defend that. You get me? That can't be defended or contested. They haven't even brought it up. I don't know why they didn't immediately go live and answer my video. They want to answer this video. He wants to schedule a show to answer this video. He wants to make a big fit about the Non Sequitur show, but he doesn't care to publicly answer what they did in that live stream, to play the clip, to break it down, right? Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it? They don't want to play my clip of me breaking it down and then talk about how I'm wrong, do they? In fact, they don't do that with anything that happens. I'm just labeled a liar and all these things when they spend... A lot of people ask me, why do I just swipe away when they say things like that? They spent all that time saying I do good videos. They could at least be logical about how I don't do good videos now. Give me a logical thing like, oh, he refused to update his show. No, I didn't, and they still won't say what I refused to update. They won't say it because they know any point they make, I did update that night. Any point that Steve was trying to make, I updated it in my show. And then after he started to say more points, I've responded to them. So he can't say that now, and that's why they don't do it. But I have my internet acting up, and I want to go to the Rock-A-Lot channel, and in 10 minutes, this goes over 2 hours. I will not let this stream go over 2 hours. So if you want to have anything, your opinion at all said, you need to type it in the live chat right now. And if you want me to read it, you need to hit @UNIROCK2 or UNIRock, okay? I'll read it. You just got to tag me. Is this the XCOM soundtrack? Is it XCOM? I've been trying to figure out what song it is. I found this song. If you want to use this song, I searched 1990s Amiga best music or best song, okay? If you want this song for your videos, I can send it to you. It's an Amiga song made with an Amiga computer. There's no copyright. I love this shit, dude. I got another one. It's called Jungle Beat. Amiga Jungle Beat. I think you can find it just by searching it. And it's really freaking good. Amiga Jungle Beat. Why, thank you, Dramaxi Lynn. I love my content too. I know I'm being silly, Busy. Anyway, and just so everybody knows, this is the YouTube channel for the after show, okay? I like still streaming on... I'm always going to stream the shows on UNIRock too. But when we go to the after show, we're going to be turning on Rock-A-Lot on YouTube for D-Live disconnecting and Mixer having issues with changing usernames and account creation. A lot of people get logged out of Mixer and then they can't log back in. I don't know what's going on with that. I have no clue. When you interview Kyle, can you get me the number for his hookup? No, that would be illegal. I'm sorry, Busy's crack pipe, but I don't care if you want better stuff, Busy. Just deal with what you got. Just deal with what you take now. Yeah, freaking crackhead. Real dummies here are the people who gave McBooma and Kyle all the money while stud wild stuff, restraint mitts for the great debate community. I disagree. I do, because I think that when people put out good content, then, you know, I think that the people that are the real dummies are people like me, when I was willing to take little pieces of Steve's story and believe that it was true. Little pieces of his story that had no real, like when he promised me he would have a contract or a written agreement that he'd show soon. That's where I feel like a dummy. For actually thinking, okay, he's going to send it to me soon, and then in my head allowing that to have weight. It led to my decision on how I felt about this, knowing that there was a contract, written agreement, whatever. Like I said, it started as a contract, then turned into the written agreement thing. It affected my thought process, and that has taught me not to let any detail affect my thought process until I've seen it or until I know it, okay? That's my whole point. Now, let me do a sum up because I've only got a couple minutes. Let me make sure there's nothing else, and let me do a sum up. If you want to add anything else, come to the Rock-A-Lot channel. I'll read the live chat there, okay? Here's my sum up. I've got I've got a couple minutes. So let me get ready. Here's my main issue, guys. Like with the Katie situation, the major points, which makes up all of their criticism against Katie, was bunk. It was provably bunk. Check the channel if you think I'm bullshitting, because I have hard evidence to show that it was bunk. So all those major points that made people rail against Katie were not true. That's why he got so mad at me when I said, don't trust the screenshots till they've been verified, right? This story should have taught us something. Him attacking Katie. That one, he will attack the people he's mad at for 8 months if he has to. He will lie and push narratives if it helps him, but he will throw a fit if somebody has a narrative that's against him. He'll throw a fit, a literal fit, like a 2-year-old, okay? He will manipulate stories. He'll try to manipulate the audience, and then he'll try to insult anyone that makes money on YouTube, and he does it. He just did it yesterday. He wants to give me shit for taking donations. So my response to him doing that on Twitter is, consider donating on PayPal right now. www.paypal.me/UNIRock. Every time UNIRock cracks a Red Bull, a boomer loses his wings. So if you want me to crack more Red Bulls, www.paypal.me/UNIRock. Let's get those boomers to lose their wings, y'all. But to be serious, though, Kyle's side, once I heard the major points of Kyle's side, all it did was reinforce the fact that both of them fucked the channel up. And I'm not going to defend Steve McRae ever again when it comes to Non-Sequitur Show. I am not going to go around pretending like he deserves anything more than whatever they agreed to. And I'm not going to believe Steve on what they agreed to now that I know that he's willing to lie to all of us to get us to believe that he's owed more than what he can prove, like in this clip right here.
Make the fucking money. I was a patron to support Kyle and Steve, and Steve in all caps.
And who's pushing this narrative? Whose voice is that? I can't tell. I don't remember his name.
So,
Steve, did Kyle give you the opportunity?
Red's knew, by the way. He knew. He could have stood up through that whole thing and corrected Steve.
To have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension, and it would have affected that. And Social Security. Kyle give you
and Steve in all caps. So,
Steve,
fair use article in the description.
did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension, and it would have affected that? And Kyle didn't, because you're making it seem as though Kyle withheld money from you.
No,
when
let me make this very clear. I asked, Kyle said he would talk to me.
Busted.
But I said,
to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or money, but you weren't.
Busted.
Money.
Yeah.
Did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension, and it would have affected that? And Kyle take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension, and it would have affected that. And
make the fucking money. I was a patron to support Kyle and Steve in all caps. So,
Steve, did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension, and
make the fucking
take it because you were on Social Security.
He's never offered to have a discussion with me. He's never offered
from you.
No, let me make this very clear. I asked, Kyle said he would talk to me, how could we distribute it? I asked him, okay, that's fine. Let's talk about how you're going to get it to me. He has never once told me how he's going to get it to me. He's never offered to have a discussion. And Kyle wanted to
take the fucking money. I was a patron to support Kyle and Steve, and Steven, all caps. So,
Steve, did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or resident pension, and it would have affected that? And Kyle didn't. Because your mates weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or resident pension, and it would have affected that. And Kyle didn't.
Everybody. Busy. Don't call our audience ding-dongs. You're the ding-dong, ding-dong.